Welcome to season 2 of the Kick-Ass Business Shows, because most business shows suck. I'm your host, Pam Gockley, and I look forward to you viewing the interview with Craig Hallenberger. Craig is a really smart guy, and he helps people with clarity, focus, and confidence. So as always, this show is about business owners sharing their stories, sharing their struggles, so that we can all work together and become stronger business owners. I look forward to you viewing the show. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you see, and share it with your friends. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Welcome back to the Kick-Ass Business Show, because most business shows suck. I'm so excited to have Craig Hallenberger on our show today. He is talks about the art of being successful through clarity, focus, and confidence. And I'm sure none of us need any of that information, but on today's show, we really want to talk about the business side of Craig's business. So first of all, it's Monday, August 28th, which Texas is getting the Harvey hurricane, and Craig is in Austin, Texas. So I'm so happy he's with me today, and so happy everything's going well. So welcome to the Kick-Ass Business Show.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Pam. I really am excited to be here.
Okay, awesome. So let's get right into it. So why is your business Kick-Ass?
You know, my business is Kick-Ass because I get to do something very unique. I get to help entrepreneurs do things that they don't even realize is a problem for them. And when you look at different businesses, I think what makes businesses either really a kick-ass business or a business that just isn't, it's boring, is how much passion that owner, how much passion that practitioner has in what they're doing. That's for my personal journey. That's where I've always seen the difference with people. And I have a lot of passion about what I'm doing because I discover things all on my own. One of the hardest things I get people to understand is when I'm telling them to do my techniques, they look at me sometimes a little bit of a blank face. And I'm like, don't worry, I do everything you're doing. So there's nothing you're going to experience that I haven't already personally experienced. And that gives me that passion. And I think that's what makes my different business so much different than other businesses today.
So how do you go about finding business owners that are willing to change? It's a status quo thing. So
it's very much a status quo thing. I think this walks on both lines of what makes my business kick ass and what makes my business suck. Okay? Because it's become very hard. The information that I know, I've probably known for a decade. And I've been highly passionate about sharing it with people. But it's taken me a decade even to get to the point where I could communicate it where it seems valuable to somebody. And also, I think the real key to your question is being able to do it quickly and in a way that is not disruptive to their normal life. If you think about the things that I get involved in, how somebody's experiences have created a program that we like to call a belief system, and how that belief system drives actions. And the actions are what makes the difference in a business. So sometimes this is the world of hypnotherapy, of psychotherapy, of psychiatric care. And those things just aren't fun to a business owner. An entrepreneur doesn't want to go through therapy. There's nothing, they're having enough issue as it is running their business, right? They need something that's quick, something that can create results for them in a much quicker manner than a normal therapy process. And that was my gripe too, to be honest. I've been through 2 bouts of depression. I went through trying to find a career, trying to find things that I liked, just trying to be happy with who I was. And I went through all those processes and they just didn't do anything for me.
So when you're, again, this might go on both sides here.
Yeah.
That's the trend we're following today with you. But, what about motivation? Not only motivation of your clients, but your motivation. You said you went through depression. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I think the great question is motivation is not only about what you see, not only about what you see and where you want to go, because that's the first part of motivation. What's my goal, right? But am I equipped with the program to actually achieve that goal. That is what completes motivation. You know, what motivates me is that I see how my life has changed, and now I have seen how clients of my lives have their lives have significantly changed. That's my motivation, to bring that information to everybody. I tell this to some of my clients that are really catching on to what I'm doing. I was like, the hardest thing you're going to have in your life is learning to keep your mouth shut. Because once you start connecting how people's programs are driving their actions, you see train wrecks everywhere in your life. I mean, you see them just going right down the track, and you just know, oh, this is not going to be good. And your natural instinct is you want to jump in and say something, right? And that's not your place. People aren't ready for that information.
So
Tough.
you I know I see train wrecks coming too all the time. And is there any tricks you can leave us or talk about just keeping your mouth shut? That's probably my biggest lesson I'm still learning today.
Absolutely. So one thing we have to understand is that every program that we run is driven by an emotion, right? So everything in your subconscious mind is driven by an emotion. So the magic in making the change, Pam, is a magical emotion that I discovered called ambivalence. And ambivalence in the English language is like the yin and the yang in Buddhist cultures. Okay? It is the balance. If I'm ambivalent towards something, then I have equal amounts of good feelings towards it and bad feelings towards it. So that means if I'm talking to the person, I can show them empathy. I can act like I care. I can actually care. I can actually listen to the conversation and be part of it. But then when I walk away, I don't care anymore. I actually can walk away from it. Mm-hmm. So when I'm at a party and somebody's talking to me and I totally see the train wreck, I can be engaged in the conversation. I can actually care about the conversation. But as soon as I turn around and meet the next person, it's no longer on my mind. I don't go to sleep that night thinking about it.
Well, wouldn't that also play into the mental health of the business owner?
Absolutely.
You're not taking on all that other drama. I love the drama that comes with it.
Well, I think drama comes from the fact that most people, we don't have training to be entrepreneurs, right? I mean, I know there are entrepreneur degrees, but we don't go through training to be entrepreneurs like doctors go through training and police officers go through training. We're just thrown into this. We just say we're going to go start a business. And it's learning to focus on the activities that actually move your business and stay away from the activities that just waste your time, that waste your energy, that take things away from you. And this is where we get stress and anxiety, and we get things where we can't seem to see the business move. And somebody from the outside comes in and says, yeah, because you're focusing your energy on all the wrong stuff. But what we choose to focus our energy on is based upon this program and this subconscious program that we have. And this is when I say the biggest problem entrepreneurs have is the problems they don't even know they have.
Right.
That's their biggest issue.
I agree.
Part of what I'm doing is using simple techniques that have been proven over decades to work, plus I can show you they work, so you can discover what programs and what is your real problem so you can change them and do the actions you know you need to do.
So to me, what I'm hearing is that you encourage your clients in your business to continue education. So can I turn that around? What kind of education do you as a consultant do?
So my education runs in the area that I read a lot of blogs and psychotherapy, the modality of therapy. I have another blog that I follow that is a lot of stuff on hypnotherapy and what's called neuro-linguistic programming, which is kind of like advanced hypnotherapy. That's really where I do a lot of my research, and where I'm looking for there is better phrasing, better ways to explain to a client what's happening, so that they'll give me an opportunity to help them. Once I help them, then they get it. And it'll sometimes it blows their minds. One of the techniques I use as a consultant is very quick, I'm talking like in 5 minutes, I'll be able to show them the exact experience. It could be from 30 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. It could be very nonchalant, like no big deal whatsoever, but that's the experience that's driving their problems, and then show them how to remove it. You remove it, problems change. You just go off in a different direction. It's
So
like
do
a
you
whole
meet people, face to face, or do you have like a regional area?
No, so it's all over the world actually. I have a couple of I do probably half of my work now is just like this, using Zoom and Skype and FaceTime.
Yeah.
And because the way I do the technique, I teach my clients to use their fingers, and by doing that, I touch into the kinesiology, kind of like a lie detector of their brain.
Okay.
Use a binary technique of asking yes and no questions. I have an IT background actually, so I
Okay.
use some stuff I learned from computer programming,
Yeah.
ask the questions in a very round specific order, and I can bury myself into somebody's mind pretty quick, right with them being consciously fully aware of what's going on, and then we can help them solve it.
Okay, great. So earlier you said that you've been doing this a decade, so you're an overnight success, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I always say. It's 20 years. I'm an overnight success.
Exactly.
So, where in that time frame can you tell me? I think between aging and just getting more used to your materials, how long did it really take? I know I was flip about it.
That's okay. It really took me. So I had my big epiphanies. So we're in 2017. I had my real big epiphanies probably 2005-ish, 2006-ish is when I had my really big epiphanies. That my experience, just the way I was raised, does that make sense? The way I was raised was driving the decisions that I was making and the actions that I chose to take. And even though somebody would tell me, hey, Craig, this is simple. Look, take this list of 50 people, call them every day until they talk to you, and then sell them, then use this script to sell the product. That seems, to some people, that sounds like, oh, that's a piece of cake. Let's go do that today. Mm-hmm. To 99% of us, something in that set of actions scares us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we're just sitting here saying, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Right now, and I discovered my problem is because I was raised in a very specific way. Nobody's fault. Nobody did it on purpose, right? It just happens to be the family that I was in. My dad was an engineer. I wasn't taught to be this entrepreneur salesperson. I had to go figure that out on my own. And I didn't realize that I was having to do that on my own. Mm-hmm. Then rudimentarily using the things that I do now very systematically and quickly, it probably took me about 5 years, 6 years to really be able to say, okay, I'm in control now. So now I can deal. If somebody says something to me, or if I come upon an action, I just feel myself not being able to do, I know the techniques I have to do in order to change, so I will be able to complete the task at hand.
Well, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions of entrepreneurs is, first of all, there's a one stock fits all plan as to how this unrolls. And can you talk about the misconception or negative that the top negative that you have experienced in your business?
That is such a great question, because I have two gripes about sales management and self-development. And they're the exact same gripe, and it's the one size fits all mentality. My discipline, the career that I chose that I was good at, was insurance. I actually sold life insurance. I trained life insurance for one of the largest insurance companies in the country. And I've seen this. And what happens is one agent or one office does really, really well, right? And they're using this process, this script or whatever it is, right? And that sales manager will take it and give it to every other agent under the assumption that if it worked for that person, it's got to work for all 500 of them. The same thing happens in self-development. Somebody comes along and they say, hey, you know what? I said this mantra, or I put this on my vision board, or I went over and listened to this recording, and boom, my life changed. Both situations are not realizing that everybody's experiences in life are completely unique to them. Even twins in the same household have a very unique perspective on life. And if you do not bring that into the formula, then the one size fits all thing is just going to fail every single time. And one of the things that I tried to do in my process was, instead of the one size fits all, take advantage of the uniqueness of every one of my clients. so that they can see change in their own lives.
Well, and that's important to bring out, because as a trainer, as well as attending these webinars and all these other training, you have to understand, and again, as the trainer, how quickly can you size up people?
Me?
Yes.
Nowadays, I can size up people pretty fast, probably in 3 to 5 minutes. If I taught them my kinetics technique, I could probably nail them in about 2.
Okay.
Because here's whenever I'm watching somebody, I only get body language and tone and the subject they're talking about. And it's the combination of those 3 things that can really tell me what's going on in somebody's life. It's kind of a little trick, so everybody wants to know how you do this. One of the things is whatever somebody leads with in their life, when you start talking to them, whatever subject they lead with, I don't care what it is, that's their biggest worry in life.
Well, and just one piece of advice: if you're a business owner reaching out for help from some consultant, if that consultant doesn't insist on seeing your face,
that's right.
Probably need to find another consultant.
That's right.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. Facial expression and body language are probably the 2 biggest tools that I have, and that's why I love Skype, I love Zoom, I love FaceTime, mainly because it's something people can't control.
Well, and can I push back a little bit? Zoom's fairly new and Skype's fairly new. So what's been happening all this time with consultants that are on the phone, and I hear, oh, I call my consultant. I'm like, you call him?
Yeah.
So what happened before? Has this industry gotten better?
No, I don't think it has. I don't think it's gotten better. I think the industry's actually gotten diluted. Really. I do talk to my clients on the phone, but that's in between video sessions. They have their homework. They have what they're working on. I know what's going on for them, so I can speak to it. But that's because I've seen them talk about it. So I already know how they're reacting. I already know what their body's doing. I think one of the things that happens, and I read this a lot in the psychotherapy blogs, is practitioners spend too much time on the modality and not enough time on the individual and understanding how unique we all are.
Okay.
And trying to take advantage of that uniqueness.
So another question, if I could, and if this is personal, please.
Go for it.
Push. So as a consultant, you seem to be able to relate really well to people on a drop of a dime. But what happens when you're tired and you are just stressed? What are some techniques you use to re-energize yourself?
So there's 2 techniques that I use. There's a physical technique of understanding that if I'm physically moving where I'm both sides of my brains have to be engaged. So I love to run. And that's what running does. Walking does the exact same thing. I've heard in theatrics that if you forget your lines, just start walking around the stage, even go off your mark, and your brain will unclick and you'll start remembering your lines, which makes total sense because you've got to use both sides of your brains to walk and balance. So that's one aspect I do. I'm doing something physical, if that makes sense. It sounds funny to be tired and do something physical, but it works. The other thing is I have an emotional mantra technique. It's the core technique that I use with my clients, and I can direct it in a lot of different ways. And one of the things I can direct with my emotional mantra is which emotion is going to give me the energy to have a good client session? What's emotion is going to give me the energy to focus on my kids now that I'm home and I've had a hard day, but I need to put energy and focus on my children, right? And when I get that emotion, there's a mantra that I just say. And remember, all of my experiences are connected to me by emotions. So that means emotions can also act as the antiviral to reconnect those neural pathways.
Wow. Can you just say that again?
How about I demonstrate it for you?
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so the binary technique using kinetics looks like this. And so I just sit here and just say, so show me a yes, show me a no. So now from my subconscious mind, in order for me to ask, if I ask a question, a yes is going to look like this, a no is going to look like that. Then I can just say, is this going to turn out to be a fantastic podcast? Yes, it is. My subconscious mind is telling me that. What emotion do I need to focus on so I guarantee that it will? Should I focus on fear, anger, love, sadness, enjoyment, judgment? So I got 2. I got anger and enjoyment. This is just like an array in programming, if anybody's been around programming. All
Mhm.
right. So then I come back and say, between anger and enjoyment, which emotion do I need to focus on? So I have a great podcast. Do I focus on anger? Do I focus on enjoyment? Now, I'm a human being. I have a conscious mind. So my last step is to verify it. If I focus on emotion, will I have a great podcast? Yes. So enjoyment is a positive. So I'm going to say, fill me with enjoyment, fill me with enjoyment, fill me with enjoyment, fill me with enjoyment. And that has how I've realigned my brain.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my core technique.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, if you folks have not taken something out of this this kick-ass business show, I'm just blown away. So I do want to thank you we're going to close
Sure.
up, but I do want to, please, any words, I don't know how you're going to top that one, but any words, last wisdom or nuggets of information to help other business owners?
I think if you're a business owner, you need to understand what Stephen Covey told you. And it's all about habits and actions. And you need to sit back and you need to really be honest with yourself and say, what actions that I know I need to take am I fully capable of focusing on and taking? And which ones am I not? And reach out to somebody who can help you focus all of your energy on the defined actions that are going to create your success. Because that is the wall. That's the mental block that is keeping you from being there.
Wow. Wow. That was awesome. Wow. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Kick-Ass Business Show, because most business shows suck, but this one does not. So I hope you have a great day, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show today.
No, thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions or anything I can follow up with you, please reach out to me.
Yeah, and Craig's information will be at the end in the end cap. So don't hesitate to contact Craig directly, and have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bam, bam, bam.